This is the Kia EV5 GT line, and this is my full review. We will walk through the goods, the bads, and the uglies. Welcome to It's Only Electric. Let's start.
It's only electric.
This is where you say that I have probably seen this car before. Yes, you may have, but you're probably thinking of its two siblings. The bigger one, the Kia EV9, and the smaller one, the Kia EV3. Because this is the new design language from Kia when it comes to EVs and SUVs. It's a mid-size SUV measuring 4.6 meters with a wheelbase of 2.75. It does have a curb weight of 2.1 tons. And this is the long-range version, so it does have a mid-sized battery pack, NMC pack with a gross capacity of 81.4 kilowatt hours and a net capacity of 78. That gives the car a total WLTP range of 505 kilometers. That goes for the GT line version with the bigger rims, 19 instead of 18. This video is sponsored by D. D stands for reliable, accessible and affordable charging products and accessories. One of my favorite products is this portable high power charger with up to 11 kilowatts of output. It's the perfect charger for versatility, since you can mount it with the included wall mount or bring it with you when traveling. It's plug and play, and you adjust the current directly at the charger from 6 up to 16 amps. It's CE certified and supports both 1 and 3-phase charging. You can also set a timer for delayed start if you want to optimize the charging according to your needs. For more settings like a charging schedule, you can use the app for controlling the charger over Wi-Fi. Every EV owner needs a portable charger, so use the affiliate link in the description or scan the QR code to get your discount today. Does it look good enough to be able to take market share from the competitors? I think so. I think the Kia EV5 will sell like butter in sunshine. That's a Swedish saying, and the meaning is exactly the same as sell like hotcakes. So, the pearl white or snow pearl white color combination together with the black accents looks really good, and it makes the car pop a little bit more. I think this suits the overall design very good. You have a very high bonnet, SUV-ish look, very flat front with a closed grille. This accents here is only black finish. There is no daylight running lights inside this, so daylight running lights is surrounding the actual headlight unit there inside. Lower part with the black accents and the black lower grille here with the active air ventilation and a hidden front-facing 360 view camera and the parking sensors all around the car. The bonnet hides a frunk despite being front-wheel drive. Performance-wise, this is a front-wheel drive car with a permanent magnet motor here at the front, putting out 218 horsepower, 160 kilowatts, 295 newton-meters of torque. It does 0 to 100 in 8.5 seconds with a top speed of 165 kilometers per hour. And as you see, the charge port is placed here at the right front fender. Everything is collected here at the front on the EV5. It makes the manufacturing process cheaper and easier. And that hopefully makes the final price to the customer lower than usual. When it comes to the charging capabilities, DC charging, fast charging, 400 volt, 150 kilowatts of peak speed, 10 to 80% in 30 minutes. Home charging, 3-phase support, 10.5 kilowatts. It also supports vehicle to load. Electronic opening and closing. It's quick. I like that one. Let's move backwards. Here on top we have black rails with a load capacity of 80 kilograms. Air spoiler on top, and as you see, a very flat design here at the rear makes us utilize the maximum possible space compared to the total length of the car. So that's practical. The rear design follows the whole design of the car with this black accents, the black rear window, the black details, the black band for the tail lights meets up with a rear-facing backup camera just on top of the big Kia logotype. Here underneath the big air spoiler there is a tucked in rear windshield wiper to keep the windshield clean. That's really convenient and good because that lowers the air resistance and saves you some energy instead of having it here. The opener for the boot is placed very low down, so a bit hard to reach. Fortunately, there's several ways to open the boot, with the application or with the key fob, or the smartest way to open it is to keep the key fob in your pocket, and when you approach the car from the rear, it will give you 3 beeps, and then after the third one, it opens up the boot automatically. So kind of a hands-free solution here without using any kick sensors, etc. If you want to cancel that event, you just move away before the third beep. Here at the rear, we have 566 liters of boot capacity, companioned by additionally 44 liters at the front in the front. You have a dual floor setup here with some decent storage for cables, etc. You can stow away this partial shelf divider and hide it underneath the second floor level or first floor level. Foldable seats split into 2 sections, 60/40, with a true loading latch in the middle for skis, etc. You can equip it with a tow hitch with a tow capacity for the front wheel drive version of 1.2 tons. If you later on go for the all-wheel drive version, you get 1.8 tons. Let us check out the interior and start with the back seat. Frame doors, door closing sound, solid, very solid. One more time. There's no rattling at all. I like that sound. Material wise, hard plastics here at top, not as bad as in some ID cars, for instance. So still looking good. Built-in ambient lighting even at the rear. The lever easy to find, a traditional lever, no, not messing around with any like electronic buttons. Power window controller, seat heating controller in 3 levels, both outer positions. Cushioned armrest, really nice because some cars tend not to have this, which makes long travels painful. In this case, I'm really happy to see such a thick cushioning. Also, the center part here is leatherette, cushioned, good looking finish here. Lower parts, hard plastic. You have a small storage compartment or a storage pocket, door pocket, door bins, whatever you want to call it, but fits 150 centiliter bottle without any problem. The front seat adjusted after my driver position. I'm 193 centimeters tall or 6'4". Still surprisingly good legroom actually. As you see, not touching my knees at all, not even close. Feet possible to squeeze underneath the front seat, even if this is in its lowest position, still plenty of room. And the angle of the thighs, one of the better, I would say. I mean, it's a SUV, so SUVs tend to have a better angle on the rear bench or a higher placed bench because you have more headroom. Also happy to see that this car is really comfortable even for grown-ups. When it comes to headroom, as you see, in the seat's most reclined position, I have just about 1 fist of headroom. I can adjust the angle of the backrest by a manual lever here at the side. So let me push that forward. And this is the most straight position. It's even more than 90 degrees. I would say like 100 degrees, maybe a bit forward leaning. So not the optimal seating position, but this will give you plenty of extra space at the boot actually. And in this position, I still have 1.5 finger of headroom. So doesn't matter which position I sit in, I still have enough of headroom, and that's nice to see. Material wise, we have the same type of leatherette as in the front. We're going to look at that soon. Perforated seats at the 2 outer positions. as I said, heating at both outer positions. And when it comes to the climate control, there's a third climate zone in the GT line version with a climate controller here at the midsection where you can adjust the rear bench temperature. Very satisfying buttons actually. Almost kind of a gamey feel to these. Love these actually. 2 manual air ventilations. There's no air vents in the B pillars. And there's also kind of a hidden table or tray here, so we can pull that out and plug your phones into the 2 USB-C chargers on the inner sides of the backrests. Very convenient to place. Just put the phone here or in the pocket and charge it. So this is a neat extra feature. Here in the middle you have a armrest with 2 cup holders, non-adaptive, and the true loading latch. It's a bit to the smaller side, so don't expect it to be capable to swallow bigger things, but better than having nothing. But as you see, it's a bit too highly placed, which makes the elbow have a too high position and also my shoulder. So probably on longer trips, it will get a bit painful. So it would have been better to have it a bit lower actually. I think that's all from the back seat, but it's clever, does have plenty of space, and it's functional. Because even the smallest things, like the holes here at the sides, it's to tuck in the safety belts so they don't rattle around, or when you fold the seats, they would not be in the way. So typically Kia to do such a thing. I must say that this may be one of the better, if not the best, back seats in this class. Here at the front, same solid door closing sound, which you immediately see that this is more towards a classical EV. I mean, with a lot of hard physical buttons, and I like that. I think the balance between the screens and the buttons are really great. So here on top, you have a control panel for controlling the steering wheel heating in 2 levels, the seat heating 3 levels in both outer positions, cooling also 3 levels, also available for the passenger. You have a light kind of a air cushioning massage function here in the GT line seats. You have 2 memory slots, all collected in a nice control panel here. And whilst talking about the seats, we also have powered seats here at the front. And now I have adjusted the angle of the seat in the steepest level. And it gives me a nice angle for my thighs. They are a bit to the shorter side because you can't extend them. That's unfortunate. Another good thing is that you have a 4-axis lumbar support. And in that control, you also have a toggle or a lever just surrounding that ring. And that's for tightening or untightening the backrest support. And that's nice because this is at the end the GT line version, so the GT line seats a bit to the sportier side, at least the backrests. Seating position is a bit to the flatter side. But all in all, a good seat with slightly missing thigh extension. They are a bit too short. The built-in ambient lighting, it's a really nice ambient lighting, by the way. It's a bit more sophisticated, so it can toggle between colors, but also use different colors at the same time in the same strip. So that's a level up. The control panel here alongside the cushioned armrest, as in the back, very good cushioning, perfect for long travels. 4 power window controllers, yes, 4, not 2, like in some other brands. You have a child lock for locking windows and doors. Also a lock and unlock button for the doors. Power mirror controls. So a lot of convenient features here. So you don't need to use the screen for such things. And that's the quickest way, I think. Material-wise, here at the front, the dashboard. Soft touch materials here, rubberized materials. A head-up display on the GT line version, a bit to the smaller side, but still, I still want to have it because it lifts your view and your eyes towards the road. You don't need to look down at the instrument cluster because it gives you just enough information for your travel. On top of the dashboard there's the traditional Kia layout of screens, so two 12.3-inch screens, one instrument cluster and one media screen. In between those two there's a dedicated control panel or screen of 5.3-inch, and that's dedicated for the climate controls. There's also a shortcut here to the climate menu. Otherwise you can control everything here. For me it is not that usable, especially not when driving, because I have a hard time seeing that screen because the spoke or the steering wheel is actually covering exactly that spot. So I need to lean over to see it or use the dedicated menu for it. Or as a third, or maybe the best option, is to use the dedicated buttons, hardware buttons for controlling the amount of air, also the temperature in the two zones here at the front. So there is plenty of options actually. Screen-wise, good placement. I like the system, I like the menus. There's plenty of clever functionality. Takes a bit of a time to get used to still, I've said that before, but functionality-wise, you still have wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay. You have plenty of smart features for charging, like preheating the battery pack, manual preheat for before charging, or en route preheating when you travel to a dedicated fast charger. Steering wheel, this is the same kind of steering wheel as you find in the EV9. I would say it's one of the better ones. Very functional steering wheel, because first off you have two Recuperation togglers or pads. The one to the right is for decreasing the amount of Regen. To the left you increase it. You have support for one pedal driving, etc. More about that when I drive the car very soon. Here on top you have a IR camera for monitoring the driver. Can get a bit annoying, also more about that very soon. Stocks to the left, of course, light controls to the right, window washers. Underneath the right stalk you have the driver stalk. This is the drive mode toggler. So you twist this one to toggle between drive, neutral and reverse. If you press it, you put in park. This is also where you power on and power off the car and the screens. So immediately when you jump to the car, you need to press this one. And when you leave the car, there is not enough to press park and leave. You need to press the EV button and the power button. And that's a bit annoying. The steering wheel adds such, I think, nice grip. It's thick, it's contoured, so I like. There's plenty of positions for the rest of your hands and arms. Control wise, you have a dedicated drive mode selector here at the lowest part. We toggle the different drive modes. The drive modes also customize the looks of the instrument cluster. That's a nice feature. To the left you have instrument cluster center part control, or the information you want to see. Actually you can toggle between different views, trip information, navigation, a lot of different views. Other than that, you have all the driver aid system controls here. So you activate the lane assist, the speed assist, you activate SSC, the distance to the cars. You have a rocker for adjusting the speed, the cruise speed, and also a toggler to toggle between the views on the instrument cluster. To the right you have a mode selector. That's for toggling between source. It should be called source, not mode, but media source. So if I press that one, you can actually program it to say which kind of source you want to toggle in between. For instance, now it's set to Bluetooth and Amazon Music. I don't use Amazon Music. Maybe I want to toggle between radio. Let me find it for you again. So Bluetooth and DAB or radio, and maybe a USB stick. Then you will only toggle between those three sources. Then you don't need to toggle in vain between modes you don't prefer. That's a good thing. And whilst talking about customization, You also have a star here at the right. The stars, you'll find several stars, at least 2 stars. One is here on the steering wheel, and you have one here on the top of the dash. Those stars are meant to be customizable for your favorite menu or function. I have mapped the star on the steering wheel through the driver assist settings. There is a reason for that. Other than that, you have media controls, volume, toggling between songs, a phone controller, voice control, voice assistant, etc. So this, if you long press it, you will activate Google Assistant if you are using wireless Android Auto, for instance. Very convenient. If you continue down here to the dash and the central compartment, as I said, on top here you have text. That's also mappings or shortcuts for controlling the screen. For instance, home, map, this favorite button. If you long press it, you can program that to, for instance, maybe activate quiet mode or navigate to the home screen. Manual air ventilations, no, not messing around with anything digital in this case. Everything is more or less manual, which is good and bad. In this kind of a car, I think it's only good. You have a rocker here for volume control, also convenient to place, so we can control the volume on the screen, on the steering wheel, but also here. And back to the control area, as I said, the hazard lights, climate controls for the 2 zones, a hook for a bag, I guess. The power controls are all collected at the same spot, so you have 2 USB-C ports. You can toggle the first one between data and charging, or only charging. You have a second one only for charging, and you have a 12 volt 180 watt outlet here. If you continue down here, we have first off big storage bin here for bags and bottles maybe. On top you have this another small control area where you have a fingerprint sensor. This is for logging into your profile. I have not programmed it to use my fingerprint, but still recognizes my profile thanks to my phone. So my phone application, the Kia application, is connected to my profile, and it senses that I'm logged in and toggles and switches, activates my profile actually. Auto hold function, hill descent control, activating the 360 park assist view. The park sensors, you can activate those or deactivate those if they get too annoying sometimes. This is also a neat feature to have collected in that compartment. You have 2 adapter cup holders. You can also close them if you prefer storage over cup holders. That's good. And another nice feature is the Qi charger and a NFC reader. It's rubberized, so it actually keeps your phone steadily in place. You have a very small storage compartment here, but still perfect for like sunglasses, etc. A cushioned armrest, center armrest here at the mid console, not adjustable, but still in a decent position, I would say. What I haven't talked about is the sunroof. This is not only a panoramic sunroof, it's a openable sunroof, so you control it from here. You also have a curtain, so you can push that to close the curtain. You can also push this to open to the ventilation and open it. This is really nice during this time of a year. I mean, when you get the first sun, like 10 degrees outside, perfect to let some energy into the cabin. I want to start with the Recuperation settings. I mean, we have a couple. As I said, we have the paddles first off. So we have a couple of different modes. For instance, you have something called auto. Auto is even more clever than auto used to be, and still are in some cars and some brands. Because what we have here is a auto feature of the Recuperation that adapts to the traffic conditions here and now, I mean on the cars in front of you, but also adapt on the navigation information. So you have a toggle, a feature for that, so we can tell the system to take navigation GPS data into account. That's a really good thing. I usually don't like auto features when it comes to Recuperation, but this one is better than what I'm used to. So now it's on auto. If I want to turn auto off, I long press the pedal to the right, and it goes to level 0. Level 0 is plain coasting. Okay. Then you have level 1. That's the lowest level of recuperation. A very weak one, kind of a small braking power, does not come to a full stop. And then you have level 2, that's the mid-level, a bit more aggressive, fairly big difference between level 1 and 2. And then you have level 3, that's the most aggressive one, but it keeps rolling at around 10, 11, 12 kilometers per hour. If I long press it, I will activate my favorite mode called iPedal. iPedal is the full recuperation, one pedal drive, I would say, OPD. OPD can also be adjusted in the same amount of recup levels. So you can still have it on level 1, but still in a one pedal mode, which means that it comes to a full stop even in level 1. But I prefer to have it on level 3 because I want it to be as aggressive as possible, and it's my job to be granular on the accelerator to create a comfortable drive. You get used to it. When it comes to recuperation, Kia is among the best on the market. It goes for every Kia model out there. For more detailed insights about the EV5, I'm doing a second video where we test range consumption, real life range and consumption, cabin noise. We measure the cabin noise inside the car, and charging. How fast does it charge from 10 to 80%? I put the link up here when that video is available. Don't miss that one, because if you're into the EV5, that's really important information. Front wheel drive is not what I prefer, especially not in a SUV. Now the motor is not super powerful, 218 HP. It's the same motor as you find in the EV9, for instance. The good thing though is that it does not lack power. I was expecting it to be a bit too weak, but it actually isn't. The only downside is that it is front wheel drive, so it can't really cope with all that torque. So it gives me a bit too much wheel spin, but that may be dependent on the type of tires we're using now. So the friction tires is not helping here. But other than that, I think you have more than enough power, and that's really good to see, because I was a bit worried about that, because it doesn't feel slow, it doesn't feel sluggish, it's powerful enough. And I think the combination with the Regen also works really good, a really good implementation. The thing though is, as I said, you get kind of a torque steering, of course. So when you floor it and accelerate a lot, you will get both wheel spin and a bit less steering input. So it understeers, of course. That's the usual thing when you go for front wheel drive cars. And since this is a heavy car, you will have a bit more of that. Let's continue with the different drive modes. We have Eco, Normal, Sport, My Drive, and Snow. My Drive is your customizable drive mode. Let us start with Eco. And if we do a full acceleration, it picks up the power slow, still gives you a bit of a wheel spin, but it still builds up the power slowly. If you toggle over to normal, let me slow down. A bit more power, but still struggles to keep the torque to the ground. Still gives me a bit of a wheel spin, but slightly more aggressive compared to Eco. If I turn that over to Sport, it's more aggressive, but still the same issue, still spins. Maybe it's partly due to the soft friction tires that will not help in these conditions, because it's too hot, it's too dry outside, so they will really lose a bit of contact with the road. But that's more or less what changes when you toggle the drive modes. More about accelerator than anything else, because it doesn't have any active dampers, active suspension. It's just traditional steel coils and traditional passive dampers. But with that said, I want to talk slightly about that. I like the setup of the dampening and the comfort in the cabin. I mean, I think it's a nice mix between comfort and like keeping the car steady in a straight line. It's of course a bit leaning, not too much, because I mean it is a SUV, so you will still get body roll, and there is plenty of body roll. But what I in particular like is the vertical movement. I think it's a really good mix because it doesn't feel too spongy, not too soft. It feels a bit more agile and active compared to some other brands. I think it's a really nicely tuned suspension. Doesn't give you any discomfort. It's not too harsh. It is not too soft. It's a good balance. It also handles potholes, uneven surfaces, bad road conditions in a good way. It doesn't rattle, doesn't give you bad suspension sounds. It's a solid build. I like that. Now to one of the things that I don't like. I mean, first off, we have the speed limit assist chimes. Those are okay. You hear the sound now. That's goes for all cars. I mean, you can very quickly turn it off by holding the mute button or the volume toggler for 2 seconds, and it turns that off. That's a good thing. So you can get rid of that really easy. What's a bit harder though is the driver monitor. It can be extremely annoying. One of the most annoying driving monitoring systems ever tried. As soon as I look away, for instance, if I look away for 3 seconds, it will start beeping. The DAW, DAW, forward attention warning, you need to turn that off every time you drive if you think that's annoying. That's why I mapped the star on the steering wheel to that menu, but you still need to press the DAW function here to be able to deactivate the front attention warning. So I will try to summarize my view and my experience with the Kia EV5 GT line, long range, front wheel drive. I have been driving it for almost 10 days today, and I'm happy to be able to drive it for such a long time because I really get to know the ups and downs on the car. Price-wise, it starts at 550,000 Swedish crowns, or I think it's 46,000 euros or 45,000 euros. This specific car, the GT line version with the big battery pack and front wheel drive, does cost 620,000 Swedish crowns or 57,000 euros, somewhere in that ballpark. And you get plenty of like equipment for that. I haven't mentioned the sound system. For instance, you have the Harman Kardon 8-speaker setup, 320 watts. Some brief information about that. It's a premium choice for the EV5, but it's not a premium sound system. It sounds good. It sounds okay. It is not that powerful because, I mean, the wattage the amplifiers are too weak. The sound image is towards the poppier or more hip-hoppy side, warm sound profile, but it disrupts or like starts to break in higher volumes. It's a okay sound system. I wouldn't call it a premium sound system, just for your information. Other than that, you have everything in this car, everything you need. I mean, decent range, 505 kilometers for the GT line version. You lose some because of the 19-inch wheels. You have the GT line seats, a bit better looking, more memory slots, controls for the lumbar or the side bolt strings, for instance. So you get plenty of equipment for that price. I mean, the GT line is also better looking from the outside, not only because of the wheels, but because of the design language. It's a bit sportier than the regular versions. So I prefer the GT line version. I'm really not sure if the price point is right for me. I want the EV5 to be a cheaper car because Kia is not a premium car manufacturer, it's a mid-segment car manufacturer. Sometimes they take a premium price for the cars. I would say that this one is okay. You can get other cars in the same segment for approximately the same price. Even some of them are cheaper. With that said, Kia is Kia. It's a stable car. It's a good tech car. It's a good EV. Kia have been doing EVs for a while now. What disappoints me a bit is the utilization of the eGMP platform, because back in the days, or 6-7 years ago, with the EV6 on the brand new eGMP platform, they were really in front, leading the EV technology with 800 volt charging. One of the first cars that could charge in around 20 minutes, 10-20%. That's amazing. It's still a really good time, still a really good technology car. The consumption is low, it's a very efficient car, the charging is amazing, the battery pack is decent. A great car in many aspects. The same goes for the EV9. That's still a car I recommend because it's still in there. It's still among the best when it comes to technology and EV technology. And I like that. So the disappointing thing with the EV5 is that the lower price point forces Kia to push down on the technology, still the eGMP platform, but they went for front wheel drive instead of rear wheel drive, and they went for going from 800 volt to 400 volt and slower charging. That's also fine, but I think 2026, when you create or deliver a car on a 400 volt system, it still needs to be good on 400 volt. 150 kilowatts is really not enough. I would say that if you go for 400, please at least keep the curve high, like the MEB platform, 185, around 20 minutes. That's numbers you can achieve on this platform. So I hope they do something about the charging. I think 150 is okay for the EV3. It is not okay for the EV5. I'm not going to whine more about that. Other than that, I think it's a practical car. You have a great back seat. You have plenty of storage in the boot. The possibility to add a tow hitch, 80 kilograms of roof rack load capacity. You have this nice glass roof, openable. There is a bit too much plastic for my taste. Instead of using this piano black, they have this piano Kia gray. Looks good, but it gets a bit smudgy, and with the time you will scratch those surfaces for sure. But I love the blend between the screens and all the buttons. I think it's the perfect interpretation of a modern car. You have touchscreen, but a lot of manual input. So all the important things are represented by physical buttons. And I like the steering wheel, very functional. You have everything you need. So cabin technology, comfort-wise, space-wise, this is a really good car. And that combined with the price, I think this is a good package. And that's why I at the beginning said that this will sell like hotcakes, or butter in sunshine. And that's where I'm ending this video today. So that's all for today. I hope I could shed some light on the new Kia EV5 GT line. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, hype the video, subscribe to the channel, engage into the comment section, ask me questions, share your thoughts about the EV5. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.